So I'm going to sing a song from the gospel bhajan that Sri Ramakrishna himself sang a couple of times. And this is about Makali and written by Kamalakant, who was a 18th century saint and poet. And his songs, like Ram Prasad Thakur has sung many times. And the words go like this. Shodanandamoyi Kali Mahakalir Manmohini. I'll give you the translation first. Ever blissful Kali, enchantress of Mahakal. Mahakal is, of course, another name of Shiva, the ultimate controller of time, the dispenser of justice. Ever blissful Kali, enchantress of Mahakal. All by yourself you sing, you dance, and Ma, you clap in your own delight. Primordial, eternal mother, formless, yet moon upon your brow. When the universe was not, whence came your garland of skulls? You alone are the player, and we move as mere instruments. As you keep us, so we remain. As you speak through us, so we speak. Restless Kamalakanta hurls sharp words at you. O world destroyer, sword in hand, you have swallowed both my virtue and my sin. Ever blissful Kali, enchantress of Mahakal, all by yourself, you dance, you sing, and Ma, you clap in your own delight. Shodanandamoyi Kali Mahakali Manmohini. Shodanandamoyi Kali Mahakali Manmohini. Tumi apni nacho, apni gao ma, apni nacho, apni gao ma, apni dao ma. Korutali Shodanandamoyi Kali Mahakali Manmohini. Shodanandamoyi Kali. Adi Bhuta Sanatani Shunna Rupa Shushibhali. Adi Bhuta Sanatani Shunna Rupa Shushibhali. Brahmando Chilo na Jokun, Brahmando Chilo na Jokun. Mundo mala kotha peli. Shodanandamoyi Kali Mahakali Manmohini. Shodanandamoyi Kali. সবে মাত্র তুমি যন্ত্রে, আমরা তোমার যন্ত্রে চলি। সবে মাত্র তুমি যন্ত্রে, আমরা তোমার যন্ত্রে চলি। যেমন রাখো তেমনি থাকি মা, যেমন রাখো তেমনি থাকি মা। যেমন বলা তেমনি বলি। অশান্ত সর্বনাশী ধরে ওষি সর্বনাশী ধরে ওষি ধর্মাধর্ম দুটো খেলি সদানন্দময়ী কালী মহাকালী মনমোহিনী সদানন্দময়ী কালী মহাকালী মনমোহিনী। Okay, so like I promised, I'll sing one for about the gopis' love for Krishna. This is a song from Anup Jalota, who is a famous bhajan singer. So, the gopis' love for Krishna is the purest form of devotion, unconditional, ecstatic, and free from the ego. Their longing in separation is considered the highest spiritual state, where the ache of absence deepens love into surrender, making the soul yearn only for union with the divine. This is a gopi singing in the pangs of separation. That dark-skinned flute player, he came and stole all awareness from me. Since then, I have not been myself. The butter thief, nun's beloved son, he didn't just steal butter, he stole my very heart. At the village well, he twisted my arm in jest, and when I protested, he smashed my water pot. I fell at his feet pleading, but he wouldn't listen, and again I lost myself completely. Then suddenly he vanished into a melody, leaving only a haunting note behind. Where did he go after shooting that arrow of love? I searched Gokul, I searched Mathura. I left no street or city untouched, but I couldn't find him. That dark-skinned flute player, he came, he conquered, and left me lost, utterly lost in love. वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला, वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला, बांसुरी वाला, बांसुरी वाला। वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला, वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी रे, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी, माखन चोर जो नंद किशोर कर गयो रे, कर गयो मन की चोरी रे, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी, वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला। छुप गयो फिर तान सुना के कहाँ गयो एक बार चला के छुप गयो फिर तान सुना के कहाँ गयो एक बार चला के गोकुल ढूंढा मैंने मथुरा ढूंढी गोकुल ढूंढा मैंने मथुरा ढूंढी कोई न गलिया छोड़ी रे सुध बिसरा गया मोरे गोपाल बांसुरी वाला पल घट पे मोरी भैया मड़ोड़ी मैं बोली तू मेरी मटकी बोली पल घट पे मोरी भैया मड़ोड़ी मैं बोली तू मेरी मटकी बोली मैया करूं करूं बिनती मैं पढ़ूं मैया पढ़ूं करूं बिनती मैं पढ़ूं माने ना एक वो मोरी रे सुध बिसरा गया मोरी बांसुरी वाला गोपाल एक बांसुरी वाला I have here a Ram bhajan. Sorry, taking a second. I set it up, but it disappeared. Now it's here. Okay. राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता राम राम जय राजा राम राम जय सीता राम 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 जय राजा राम राम सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम। रघुकुल नंदन राजा राम, सियापते जय जय श्री राम, रघुकुल नंदन राजा राम, सियापते जय जय श्री राम, मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम, भव भय भंजक जय श्री राम, हनुमत स्वामी प्रभु श्री राम, पतित पावन सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम। मंगल कारक जय श्री राम, करुणा वत्सल जय जय राम, मंगल कारक जय श्री राम, करुणा वत्सल जय जय राम, मोक्ष प्रदायक जय श्री राम, पाप निवारक जय जय राम, परम ब्रह्म परमेश्वर राम, पतित पावन सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम। जय जय श्री राम, राम राम 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 जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम, राम राम जय राजा राम, राम राम जय सीताराम।
go back to the maybe you can tell them this isn't a really good time. Okay. All right. So, well, by the time we do our chant, our location. Om Sato Ma Satgamaya Maso Ma Jyotirgamaya Vritirma Vritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, yeah, welcome to everyone. It's so nice to see some of you here live. Thank you for bearing the heat and the and the traffic and all. I guess some of you would either be on live or on recording. I was actually in Arizona, in Sedona, Arizona, just last week, and I was having lunch in this nice vegetarian outside cafe, and this nice Indian lady turned around to me. Maybe you're looking at us now. She said, "Jeff, are you Jeff?" And I was shocked. I said, "Yes." She goes, "Well, we see you on the YouTube for the classes." And she was there last week when we did ours, so that was really sweet. So namaskars to all of you in Arizona. We're here back in Las Vegas, our sister desert. So we're suffering together in this beautiful heat. But Sedona is beautiful, wonderful, beautiful. Oak Creek Canyon, such a lovely time. Well, we've got definitely big competition this week. We have Swami Saprapriyanandaji in Hollywood, so the fact that anybody's here at all is really surprising to me. I know everybody would like to be in Hollywood with Swamiji. And of course, we have invited him. We are going to have Swamiji come next year. We've decided. We're working on a date now with him. So we'll have to all pull together and make that happen. We have Swami coming in. I haven't been able to announce the person and exact date yet for September. And then, as you know, Swami Medinand is coming the 17th to the 20th of October. So we're going to have our weekend retreat, and we'll do our hiking with Swamiji, and he'll be blazing a path that none of us can catch. He's very, very fit. So Swamiji, thank you for coming. So our topic today is the one and the many. And, you know, these kinds of, when I was asked to do these, I was kind of terrified or horrified, or I don't know how to, because I haven't done, before this, I hadn't done these kinds of things since I was 19 and 20 years old, doing these in the School of Metaphysics in Chicago. And then in the ashrams and so on, we don't really get a call to give classes. We just generally meditate and work. So, so to do this again was a little bit of soul searching. But you know what I usually do now is I just literally, before the talk comes up, I'll just meditate and I'll just ask Ma Saraswati, what is it this week? And she'll come up with a title. And then I'll say, okay. And then she comes up with content. And then she moves this and moves the lips and all that stuff. I swear it's not anything that I organize. There's nothing that I put together. It's just her completely. So thank you, Ma. Jai Ma. And that's the only way I could possibly imagine this happen. So I just wanted to let you know that truly this is her. It has nothing to do with me. So, and we're really lucky to have the professionals coming through from time to time and really give us serious talks. And that'll be Swami. We'll talk about when Swami, the next Wednesday, of course, Swami Medinand will be here. So this came up to me when I started to put this together. Some of this comes from YouTube, some of it comes from my readings, and not YouTube, from Facebook, because I'm, you know, when you just look at certain things, instead of bad things coming up, you get good things just because they have a program like these shows. So I get a lot of things from Swami Vivekananda's chat groups and some from Sri Ramakrishna's and my Ma's and all these kinds of things. And some really wonderful ideas come up. And this one is with which is the talk that Swamiji had with Sri Ramakrishna had with some devotees. And so I thought I'd just read this. It's very, very telling when we're talking about the one and the many. One day I boldly asked the master, Sri Ramakrishna, "Sir, what is meant by tapas, austerity, or sadhana? And why did you undergo so much of it?" So this is, maybe you've read about Sri Ramakrishna's life, but he really literally went through almost every possible sadhana, through Tantra and Vedanta, and I mean, just hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months of meditations and sadhanas, undergone under various teachers and so on. And of course, I suspect that he needed none of this himself. So this is why he's asking this. It's Sri Ramakrishna. Tapas or sadhana is the concentrated effort of the mind to gain some desired end. One undergoing it has not the least concern for the body or sense pleasures. For example, an angler is fishing and a fish is nibbling at the bait. Meanwhile, it is raining hard, and the man is asking the angler a question. But the angler pays no heed to anything but the fish. It is only after the fish has been hooked that he spreads his umbrella and answers the question. Without tapas and hard practice, no one can attain Brahman. How much labor is needed to pass an examination, the goal of which is to earn a little money? One has to read night and day, scarcely paying heed to meals and the like. Then how much more effort is needed for the realization of Brahman? Tapas is the source of all strength. The scriptures say that even God performs austerities for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the world. How much more then do we need it? A 12-year-long tempest of tapas swept over me. Heat and cold and rain would pass over my body. I used to sit on an uneven area ground, losing all outward consciousness. My eyes would not blink, and I would be absorbed in God. Someone used to strike my back with a stick to bring me back a little consciousness, bring back a little consciousness so he could feed me. But I would become senseless in the very act of eating. Sometimes I would laugh heartily, blessed with the vision of the Divine Mother. At other times, I would cry bitterly for not having her vision. I have heard that people would throng around to look at me. Sometimes again, the body would become stiff with no sign of life. I used to meditate, and people say birds would sit on my head, mistaking it for lifeless matter. I had no idea of the world and the things of that sort. At first, I used to meditate on the Lord, thinking he was the object of worship and I was the worshiper. Then all distinctions disappeared, and a state of perfect identity was the result. The scriptures say that if one remains for 3 weeks in this state, the body falls off. But as I said, a man used to force down food down my throat after bringing me to consciousness by beating me. That preserved the body. After about 6 months, that state passed. I then had a desire to realize Mother in diverse forms. I had heard that Hanuman was an exemplar in worshiping God with the attitude of a servant to master, and thus has realized Sri Rama. I too remained in that attitude for some time and had a vision of Sita and Rama. Practicing the attitude of a gopi, or milkmaid of Vrindavan, I realized Radha and Krishna. I also called upon the divinity as a child does its mother, and I saw Mother Kali, the source of all energy. In 3 days, I attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi and realized Brahman while meditating in an attitude free from all emotion. My guru Todapuri, the Naked One, was amazed and said, "What a divine phenomenon. In 3 days, he has attained the knowledge of Brahman, which I have achieved after 40 years of intense struggle." I meditated on Allah and was blessed with his vision, and I saw Jesus also. Furthermore, I have practiced the 64 branches of tantric disciplines. I said to the master, "Sir, I have heard the story of your sadhana. What was the need for so many different kinds of practice?" Immediately, like a child, his tearful eyes quivered with emotion, and he replied, "My boy, I did everything for all of you. Otherwise, I personally had no need of them." Saying this, he went into samadhi. Upon returning from samadhi, he spoke with faltering accents, half audibly, "Oh man, I have done so much for you. you do a minute fraction for me. Afterwards, he said with a smile, my boy, do you think everyone has got to cook for himself? The mother has cooked everything. Have faith. Partake of the meal and be blessed. In the Master, I saw the sign of God, which the scriptures mention as the boundless, unmotivated ocean of mercy. Otherwise, why did he suffer so much for others? Again, the Master solemnly said, look, such practices are needed to set an example. I have gone through all 16 parts. You do one part. I asked, sir, while talking about and listening to divine topics, you become quite stiff and unconscious, but your face beams with a joyous smile, and your body too becomes radiant. Why is that? What do you experience in that state? And he smiled and replied, well, it is called samadhi, the culmination of meditation. I borrow from 1/16th part of the mind from Divine Mother and talk and laugh with you. But the remaining portion rests with the Mother, meditating on her real essence as existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. When I talk or hear about the Mother, the whole mind goes to the absolute and samadhi immediately ensues. Do you know what samadhi really is? It is complete absorption in Brahman. Do you know how I feel at that time? Suppose there is a basin of water in the seashore, and the fish is confined in it. If the basin is accidentally broken, the fish finds its way to the unfathomable ocean. It then frolics in the height of joy, doesn't it? Similarly, during samadhi, my mind slips out of the body, as it were, and plunges into existence, knowledge, bliss absolute. Hence, the body appears like that. In other words, there is no body consciousness, and the soul merges in the higher self, Paramatman, in the thousand-petaled lotus of the head, and experiences unspeakable bliss. That experience sends a wave of divine bliss to the face, and the body becomes radiant. This very self then becomes Shiva, the Absolute. That was from Vaikuntha Nath Sanyal. And this is from Swami Chetananda's book, Ramakrishna as we saw him, by the way, which we have upstairs, I believe, but it's such a wonderful book. I don't know if so many of others have read it yourself. I was blessed to have it in the ashram here, and so I partake of it every once in a while and really enjoy it. I don't know if you ever have a blessings to see Swami Chetananda. He's in Orange County there by the ashram. He's got a little apartment there, so sometimes he's in Chibuko and in the Kali temple down there. What a beautiful soul. Really amazing. This is from, I think it's important to understand that when we read these things from Sri Krishna, they kind of give so much, and he's done so much. It can become a little bit overwhelming sometimes, thinking that we also have to do all that. But if we latch onto one aspect of approach to God, one aspect of the divine, and we really embrace it with all of our might and really take it to the end of the road, so to speak, I think that all of these things end up, as Sri Krishna said, really do come to the top of the mountain, and eventually all these rivers lead into the ocean. And that's the only hope we have, because there's so much craziness through all the different rivers, and they thinking that their river's the only one, and it's the best one, and all that kind of thing, especially in our world today. It seems like. But this is what Swami Vivekananda says at the end of all of these things, at the end of paths, at the end of reaching and searching. He said, if you can get absolutely still for just one moment, you have reached the goal. The mind may go on working after that, but it will never be the same mind again. You will know yourself as you are, your true self. Still the mind, but for one moment, and the truth of your real nature will flash upon you, and freedom is at hand. No more bondage after that. Maybe we can know that. And that was his notes of class talks and lectures on the proof of religion. If you want to go back and find more of that talk. So, we were talking about, and the Guru was singing about the beautiful blissful gopis and their divine romance with Sri Krishna, and the pure love that exemplars, that high state of connection. And it seems to me that the whole universe is created for the ability for that to take place. Because if you had the one already existing, complete and absolute with all potentialities of that, if there's only one, there can't be a divine romance. So it seems that this whole universe is created so that each of us with our own free will at some point decide to engage in that, that divine connection, that divine unity, the divine beauty of romance in different aspects, in infinite aspects. I was talking to Swami Sarvapriyanandaji, and I was saying that, really unless you have creation and duality, it's like it brings out the infinity of love, the completion of love. And I said, so I'm really, in the south of India, they talk about the dancing Shiva. So this is the Shiva of creation. This is the Brahman of creation, where this full consciousness and aspect is in all of creation and experienced in all of creation, sort of like Sri Ramakrishna's Vijnana. And I was really appreciating, you want to be into this unity because it's just the cessation of all nonsense. But at the same time, then you can actually have the ability of having this perfect divine connection, this divine expression of love, this infinite expression of love, and it can only be with two. It can't be with one. So it's a very interesting concept that comes. And Sri Ramakrishna said, you get to that top of the mountain, and then from there, this vijnana begins, this spirituality begins. And so Brahmanandaji said the same thing. He said, you get to samadhi, and then the beginning of the spiritual path begins. So, it's just wonderful to see the ability of this. And I think we have to find the things that really, really heal us. Everybody is suffering. Just by in fact of having a body and being in creation and being separate, just by that there's suffering. It's just a part of that. Everybody suffers because we're cut off. We don't know anything about where we came from. We don't know anything about our past. We don't know who we really are. We're kind of cut off in a little box. And unless we can get beyond that box, just think everybody's in the same boat except for those few divine beings. Everybody suffers from that, just from that alone. Then you can imagine all the crazy things that happen in this interplay light. So, I can imagine what the divine feels for each. That there's only one consciousness, so he suffers through all of us. So this is from, also we have Sri Ramana Maharshi. I'm blessed to be being called back to Arunachala and Tirumalai starting this week. I leave Friday. And I'll be spending probably a better part of a month close to the mountain again. And Sri Bhagavan is, Ramana is just such a simple expression of that oneness of the self. Like Swami Vivekananda said, if you can but once still the mind, you've experienced the real self, and that your mind can never be the same after that. He was so clear on how he expressed such abstruse philosophies of non-dualism, the Mandukya Upanishad, all these crazy things that are written that are very deep, very strenuous. He said in just one simple sentence because he was living in that state of consciousness. So this is Sri Ramana, and going to the mountain is like that. It's like just being in that energy. It's so wonderful. Somebody asked Bhagavan, what is Guru's grace and how does it work? And Sri Bhagavan said, Guru is the self. How does it lead to realization of devotee? Yes. Ishvaro Guru Manti. Guru is the same as Guru and the self. God is the same as Guru and the self. A person begins with dissatisfaction. Not content with the world, he seeks satisfaction by desires and prayers to God. His mind is purified. He longs to know God more than to satisfy his carnal desires. Then God's grace begins to manifest. God takes the form of a guru and appears to the devotee. teaches him the truth, purifies the mind by his teachings and contact. The mind gains strength, is able to turn inward with meditation. It is purified yet further, and eventually remains still without the least ripple. That stillness is the self. The guru is both exterior and interior. From the exterior, he gives a push to the mind to turn inward. From the interior, he pulls the mind towards the self and helps the mind to achieve quietness. That is grace. Hence, there is no difference between God, Guru, and the self. It's really sweet too. When I think once you go beyond certain points, there is this real connection you start to feel with something external, like the Guru. And then I think what Sri Krishna, Ramana, and even Swami Vivekananda talked very clearly, there's this point when we turn inward. Even the beautiful dual relationship with God, with Krishna, or however, that's still dualism. That's still external. That's still going outward. That's the mind is still going outward. There comes a point when that mind has to be turned inward into the real source of awareness and self, and that is the only reality. Everything else is a projection. It's creation, all of it, and that's kind of scary for some, and it's maybe beyond where some people want to be. But that's what is really the point, and I think when that happens, then there is a chance of peace. Otherwise, there's always this kind of cosmic dance that goes on of cycles. You know, we were talking about punya, where you get good merit for a while, and you go into the highest heavens and have all this good bliss and all karma. Sooner or later, that punya is finished, and you come back to this world, and you kind of go around to another round of incarnations. So this kind of goes on and on and on until you realize that anything external, you know, it's not real. It's nothing. It's real. It's a dream. All of it. And this is remember what Swami Vivekananda said. He said, I used to bow, my head was bloody from bowing to everything. I love Swami Vivekananda, he's so funny. My head was bloody from bowing to everything. Then I realized that I had to turn inward. He said, I found no peace. I found no peace at all. Once I'd have a little peace and then it'll go away. He said, only when I turned inward did I find peace. Only when only still in my complete consciousness. Everything else is just a cycle. And that's kind of maybe the hard truth. Maybe not one you want to tell everybody, but it seems to be the truth. This is Ramana again. What really matters? One method of securing the temporary cessation of mental activities, manolaya, is by association with sages. They are adepts in the samadhi, and it has become easy, natural, and perpetual with them. Those moving closely with them and in sympathetic contact gradually absorb the samadhi habit from them. A yogi used to sit as steady as a rock with eyes closed for a couple of hours at a time. The Maharshi spoke to him, do you really want to learn meditation? Mere posture is not good enough. What matters is where your mind is. So learn from that young man over there. He pointed to a young graduate who had been unemployed for nearly a year and was now haunting the ashram constantly. He sits there with eyes closed too, but his whole mind is centered on obtaining employment. He prays continually in that silence to me to give him a job. But where can I give him a job? So the idea is this whole single blending of the mind, which is samadhi. It's the bringing together. It's a literal translation of what samadhi is. It's bringing together all of these things to a point. And so there's only one. And just surrendering into that where there's nothing, there's not two, no more two. And so there's one and many. But I think what's really cool about all of these beings who have experienced that is that they don't see anything outside of them as outside of themselves. There's no us and them in their world. There's no separate person in them. So you can imagine that there's not the least negative thinking towards any being. There's not the least projection of any negativity or judgment or hurt to any being in those beings, because they are one with all of those. And I think they're the only ones that can say that. They do no harm, as the Dalai Lama used to say. So, okay, so let's do a chant here. I don't want to keep you too long today, but I'm so glad I could hear it for one more class before I go to India. Let's do Ramakrishna Sharanam, and then we can have a short silence and then we'll finish a little early, but what the heck, right? Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye. Viklani Kevalam, Viklani Kevalam, Viklani Kevalam, Sharanam Ye. Viklani Kevalam, Viklani Kevalam, Viklani Kevalam, Sharanam Ye. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye. Sharanagatuham, 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 Ande. Sharanagatuham, 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 Ande. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye. Namo Singurave, Namo Singurave, Namo Singurave, Namo Namo. Namo Singurave, Namo Singurave, Namo Singurave, Namo Namo. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye. Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Ramakrishna, Ramakrishna, Jaya Jaya Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharanam Ye. Sharanagatuham, Sharanagatuham, Viklahi Kevalam Sharan Ye. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharan Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharan Ye. Sharanagatuham, 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 Shande. Sharanagatuham, 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 Shande. Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharan Ye Prabhu. Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Ramakrishna Sharanam, Sharan Ye. Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Namo. Namo Sri Gurave, Namo Sri Gurave, Sharanam Sharanye Prabhu Krishna Sharanam Ram Krishna Sharanam Ram Krishna Sharanam Sharanye Ram Krishna Jaya Jaya Ram Krishna Jaya Krishna Krishna Jaya Jaya Ram 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 Krishna Sharanam Ram Krishna Sharanam Ram Krishna Sharanam So maybe we can do just a little bit of this Soham meditation. We'll leave that with you guys so we can refresh memory on that one. Remember, the idea is to still the mind even one time and even for a short time. So to become that complete, still witness, that pure being, and just exist in that is the highest state of consciousness. And the only thing that pulls us down from that is prabhata karma, is our tendencies, desires from lifetimes, fears, senses, inadequacy, anything. Anything pulls us from that. That's what pulls us from that. That's the only thing that can bring us from that. To stay in that awareness is to be free from all of those tendencies that prabhata karma, anything that can cling. So total unattachment and disassociation with everything, even our insecurities, even our fears, even our guilts, even our desires and all our things we own, things we want to own, all of these things, past life stuff that's for thousands of years, a pure fear of death, all these things that are what pull us from that pure being. But we are free from that. That is what these great ones are telling us. We don't have to earn it. This is us. That is what our pure being is. So all we have to do is not let anything distract us from that. So this is the idea of this Soham meditation that's really so beautiful. Because the idea is to be the witness consciousness. And one of the ways to do it is with the breath. And so if you see the breath, and we'll do some preparation breathing exercises, pranayama, the breath allows us to just, first of all, see it as somebody else's breathing, completely be detached from the breath, but be aware of it. And with the mantra of Soham, I am He. It's a vibration that allows us to get into this truth of that vibration. I am He. I am that. This is it. I am that. So this is a very beautiful technique that has a very profound effect on basic consciousness. And some of these sages practice this 10, 15 hours. They're in the caves doing this stuff. And they get into this awareness where it's just the awareness, consciousness, and staying to that. So what we want to do is we want to use the Patanjali Yoga Sutras to get us to that space where we can use it. So they say yama niyama, those are the first steps. So do the things you should do, don't do the things you shouldn't do. But even if you do the things you shouldn't do and all that, just leave it alone. Don't let it pull you down. Let it be. Yama niyama, but if you're a dastardly person, you're not going to achieve oneness with meditation, and you're probably not even going to be drawn to it. You don't have the good karma to be drawn to it. So yama niyama. Then you have asana. Asana is just the correct posture. And the idea is to have the spine straight. So if you sit against the back of the chair, it probably isn't going to be easy to have the spine straight. You want to just be a little bit further forward from the chair so that the spine is is like a channel. And what this does is there's subtle currents in the spine, up and down the spine. And there's currents on the outside, Ida Pingala, that intertwine with the spine through the chakras. Every time we breathe in, the Ida is engaged, and the breath goes through that channel. And we exhale, Pingala goes down. And so you actually have this current going in and out on the outside of our these deep centers of consciousness. When the center is awoken, this is what Swami Vivekananda talks about in his Raja Yoga. There's a kind of a triangular entrance in the base of the spine where the Kundalini is coiled. There's tremendous energy there that when it's awoken, when the consciousness is pure enough and the breath is pure enough, it pierces the inner channel of the Shushumna, of the spine. And then it goes up, as it goes up inside, then it awakens these centers of consciousness and it purifies each one. So the lowest is our sense of survival. The lowest center of our energy center, our chakra, is our survival center. The next one up is our procreation, the desire to procreate in many ways. The next one up is all the astral, all the energy and emotions and the kind of all of that kind of stuff is caught up in this solar plexus chakra. So the lower three chakras are where our normal mind is all the time. So there's the desire for survival, there's the desire to procreate or to express, there's the desire for these emotional needs and things that are all kind of bouncing up, and mind works in there. When you get to the heart center, which is what they tell us, that now opens, that's the beginning of the spiritual awareness. Then that opens and you have light, you'll see just explosion of light and just feeling of just utmost love, just being at home and at peace. So the center of the heart is where you want to be, the beginning of spiritual awareness, spiritual awakening. So when that heart center opens, they say that all of that energy then starts to be drawn up from here, and then you're really not going down to those three so much anymore because this is so fulfilling. But from there, the heart center is still a dualistic situation. You've got your throat center, which is a closer approximation of connection and awareness and identity with that. So they say this is the expressive, spiritually expressive kind of the energy is through all the universes and all these kind of things. The point between the eyebrows is that where it's connected to the medulla oblongata. There's a polarity there, and you actually have a light that will shine at the point between the eyebrows. And you want to have your focus always in the third point, the eye, or the point between the eyebrows, because it lifts up the energy up the spine naturally. But once you get to there and you see the light and you awaken the Ajna chakra, what happens is you actually see that awareness, that reality, that amazing spiritual consciousness from a distance. But it's so close, it's like there's a thin pane of glass between you and it. And they say it's maddening. There's nothing you can, night and day, that's all you can imagine is just that amazingness is right there. It's like so close, but you can't quite grasp it. It's just right there. Thin pane of glass. So this is the third eye. Then when the energy goes up to the top of the third eye, the top of the Sushumna, the thousand-petaled lotus, the Shishara, then it's just one. That pure being of oneness is experienced. And so this is the state that we were talking about. So we try to use all of these tools to bring our awareness to that state of one point, state of stillness. And this purifies the energy, purifies the thoughts and the minds. So what we want to do is we want to use, so it's yama, niyama, asana, so sitting straight with your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting down, you just keep your spine straight. You can have your hands upturned either in your, like with your right hand over your left in your lap, or you can put them on your thighs, whatever's more comfortable for you. Mudras are, it's just too much complication. It's hard enough with all that stuff. And then putting the point of just lifting the gaze is really important, so that it's just upturned to the point between the eyebrows. Paramahansa Yogananda, he said, he was an amazing yogi. He said, if the eyes are going downward, you're going to go into sleep in the subconscious mind. He said, if the eyes are going forward, you're going to engage the conscious mind, the thinking mind. He said, but if the eyes are upturned, you can go into the superconscious mind, or the stillness of all mind. And so that's where you want to always have that. And always keep it, when you're in your meditation, you always want to keep an eye on, where are my eyes? You know, did they slow down? Or they and if you're falling asleep, you really are going to see that your eyes are stuck, drifting downwards. Just lift them up, and sooner or later it'll become a habit. It'll just be riveted here. So then there's pranayama. Pranayama is taking that energy. Remember I said the energy goes on kind of up and down the Ida and Pingala. So we're going to do that consciously. We're going to, through the incoming breath, we're going to chant soul, and that's going to be able to create a beautiful energy flow for the Ida on the incoming breath. And that will travel all the way up the spine. And then hum, the energy will go back down, which it does anyways. So hum, you're going to feel these beautiful currents of energy. And putting your full attention at the point between the eyebrows. And all you really want to do is just be the witness of the breath. The witness of the breath. And let it flow by itself. Don't try to control the breath. So this is where we're learning how to be the awareness consciousness. If we can just observe the breath as it goes in and out, we chant so. So when the breath is incoming, we chant so. When it stops, just let it be, because that's an important part of the peace. Feel the peace. When you exhale naturally, hum. Incoming breath, so hum. And you wait for the breath by itself. So hum. If the breath stops, that's actually pretty cool, because that's why Sri Krishna described that he would stop the breath and his eyes would stop blinking and he'd just be staring there. That's kumbhaka. That's where the energy can go into the channel of the Sushumna with breathless energy. And that energy will complete into Sushumna. It's pulling that energy up. That's why the body needs no more breath, because the prana is energy, is enlivening, sustaining the body directly. And so you don't need an intermediary of the breath anymore. It becomes just samadhi. So if you stop breathing, don't freak out. It's actually a good thing. Just be at peace with it. Just feel that energy. Just become that awareness. So what we'll do is we'll breathe in with a double inhalation through the nose, and you should hear it like. And we're going to breathe in for a count of 8. Or if you can't do an 8, to a 5. If you want to do 10 or 14, depending on how great your lungs are. And then at an equal amount of counts, you'll hold the breath. And then exhale, hum. This is only preparation for this. Preparation for the practice. So, I'm sorry. Inhaling, you're not so hum. It's just inhale. And you're holding and exhaling through the mouth. Double exhale. So inhaling and exhaling, that's pranayama. Okay? So let's just practice that part. Inhaling. You should hear it. Exhale. Hum. Inhale. That's pranayama. Okay? And then after 3 practices of that, then you just let the breath go. And by itself, when it of its own accord comes in, you mentally chant so. And you wait, and it goes by itself. So, and just watch that. And again, if the breath stops, just enjoy. Okay. So we'll do the breathing exercises. By the way, when you do breathe in, and these pranayama tense the whole body, so it's, you hold that while the same breath, and then exhale, you'll release all the tension. And that's really allows your body to become really energized and at peace, and all the tension, and all the stress, and all the blockages can be let up. Okay, so we'll do those 3 times, and then we'll just practice so hum for a while together. Okay, so breathe in together. Tense the body. Hold. Exhale. Release all the tension. Inhale and tense. exhale. Release all the tension. One more time, inhale, intense. Hold. Exhale and release. Now when the breath comes in of its own accord, mentally chant Om, 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 So. Mentally chant So. When it goes out of its own accord, Hum, So, Hum. And remember the eyes to upturn to the point between the eyebrows. wonderful to be here with you all. Are there any questions, comments, announcements? Remember, Swami Ahmed is here. Oh, we just missed Pranam, she's called too. The 6th of August. He'll be here. And that'll be the next session here, although they do RT here. I think you're going to be doing some of them also, if you want to. On Sunday or Saturday, whenever you guys want to do it. Alrighty, thank you so much. Jai Thakur Jai Ma, and we'll see you in August. What's that? So let me see if I can get